Women Innovators. Interviews with women with big messages and big missions, sharing their stories to inspire you to live your passion and step up to make the world a better place. Here's your host, Tammy Patzer.
Hi, this is Tammy Patzer, and I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Dr. Linda Abujaber-Ammari. She is a holistic, integrative pediatrician, and she is the CEO of Global Parenting Initiatives and AskDrLinda.com, a company dedicated to supporting parents in raising babies and children who thrive physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as they grow and thrive themselves. She has been publishing a weekly blog on raising healthy babies and families based on the questions she's been asked most frequently during her more than 30 years of practice as a pediatrician and holistic doctor. Dr. Linda has been practicing medicine for more than 30 years. She is board certified in General Pediatrics, Pediatric Infectious Diseases, and in Integrative and Holistic Medicine. She is trained in Acupuncture, Pediatric Hypnosis, Reiki, Energy Medicine, Clinical Homeopathy, Grief Recovery, and she is well-versed in the use of herbs and supplements to keep you and your family healthy. She helps parents of new babies learn the skills they need to confidently care for their newborns from birth to 3 months, and she's just written a book that is called The SuperDad Formula, Dr. Linda's Guide to Unleashing Your Inner Parenting Superpowers. Welcome, Dr. Linda.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be speaking to you today.
I'm excited to talk to you because we don't have any manuals. We just need so much help when it comes to babies. So this is book 1, and you're really focusing on birth through 3 months. So tell me a little bit about who you wrote the book for.
I wrote the book for pregnant parents and parents of new babies, whether they've had a baby before or not. And one of the major motivators that made me write this book is I remember many years ago, my son is now 25 years old. They handed me the baby after a very difficult delivery, and I looked at him and I thought, I'm not sure how I'm going to take care of you from now on. I was already board certified in pediatrics. I was working on my second board certification, and yet I realized that I had no idea how to be a good parent. I could take care of a healthy, I could do a healthy visit with a baby, but my main focus, as most of us was at that time, was on how to take care of sick babies. And so that actually is what started me on this journey. To me, parenting is the most important job we ever have, and none of us gets training. It's the only job we never get training for. Even if you're going to become a waitress or a waiter, they give you some sort of training in what to do. When you become a parent, you get pregnant, you read as many books as you possibly can, or you don't, and then they hand you this baby, and it's like, what do I do? And because of that question that I had, and because I see the terror and the fear in new parents' eyes when you're sending them after their well baby check in the hospital, you're sending them home, and you can see the terror in their eyes. Like, now what do I do? There are no nurses, there's no doctors. I'm on my own with this kid, me and my partner.
I think that's a really important thing, and you really wanted to help the dad to become a great dad or a super dad. So let's talk a little bit about that, because, of course, mothers get a lot of support, more so, but we still need support for the whole family. But in your point of view, what really makes a great dad? How important is it that he takes time to learn some skills?
I think fathers are key. I think that the breakdown of the nuclear family is at the root of a lot of the problems we're having now. And there are a lot of single dads out there right now. There's also dads who are in partnerships who want to step up and help the moms, but they don't know what to do. They've never really been around babies, and if they have, they were just, looking at them, but they were never involved in the primary care of the babies. And I think that especially the newer dads, I find, really want to be more involved. Children need two types of energy. They need the masculine energy and the feminine energy. They need the nurturing energy, and then they need the action-oriented energy. And for the most part, in most relationships, the woman is the more nurturing, and the man is the action-oriented. But the babies do need the nurturing from the dads. And I think that being a great dad is so important in the health of the child, not just physically, because studies have shown the healthier the parents are, and that includes the dad and the mom, physically, the more healthy the baby will be, but also emotionally, because babies watch what we do. A lot of times parents would bring their little older kids into my office, and they'd say, my kid doesn't eat broccoli. And the first question I'd ask is, well, do you eat broccoli? And so, and once parents realize that the child is not learning by what they say, but by what they do, they become a lot more aware, and they need more skills in order to deal with things. Dads are not trained in dealing with emotions. I can't tell you how many 11-year-old boys will come in and they've got an issue, and I'll say, how do you feel about that? And they actually look at me confused. What do you mean, how do I feel? I'm mad. And I say, well, is there any other feeling you might be feeling? And they literally don't have any words. And I think that's a shame, because men have the same feelings as women do, but they're taught to stuff them. They're taught to ignore them. And I think that that's a problem in societies everywhere, because I actually grew up in Jordan. It's the same as in every society that I've seen. I think that dads have great nurturing capabilities. And a man that has the skills to physically take care of the child is not just an asset to the child, but an asset to the mom. The mom delivers this baby. She carries the baby around for 9 months. She goes through labor, which is called labor for a reason. It is very difficult to deliver this baby. And then she's handed the baby, and she's supposed to take care of this baby. And she actually needs the father, not just for emotional support, but for physical support. She needs to be able to sleep. If the dad is able to pick up the baby safely and take care of the baby while the mom gets a little rest, that doesn't just make the mom healthier, it makes the baby healthier, because the baby realizes there's actually two parents there that are fully capable of taking care of me, and they feel secure with both. A lot of times parents will tell me, dads will tell me, I pick up the baby and the baby starts screaming, and I'll say, well, are you nervous? And they say, yeah. And I say, but babies pick up on your feelings. So if you're nervous and tense and you're sweating when you pick up the baby because you're afraid of what you're going to do, or you don't know what to do, the baby is instantly going to feel that. If you relax, you take 3 deep breaths, you take a step back, you know what to do, the baby will feel that too. And not only will you have confidence, but the baby will have more confidence in you. And that's fabulous to have 2 parents that you are confident in, and that will take care of you. It increases baby self-esteem. It increases their emotional health. It increases their spiritual health. And actually, it increases their physical health. Sorry, I talked a lot about it, but I'm very passionate about this subject.
Well, so you talked about how important it is for the dad to be able to handle his own emotions, and how that helps to strengthen the relationship, not only with the baby, but with the mother or the partner, yes. and to create this family unit. So it actually helps to create a stronger family unit. And then, like you said, the communication, and it helps us create this harmony. So with the book, the 0 to 3 months, I mean, that's 90 days.
Can I talk a little bit more about that? Can I talk a little bit more about that relationship thing? Because that's actually key. I've had a lot of frank conversations with dads over the years, and they tell me that a lot of times in that month or 2 after the baby is delivered, they feel very neglected. They feel rejected by the mother because she's not interested in having sexual intercourse the way she used to be. And they actually have told me that sometimes they feel like just leaving or actually engaging in an affair. And I don't think most of them actually take action on that. But I do think that it's a shame, because I know that these men love their wives, and they'll tell me, I love my wife, but I feel left out. And I find that when you have the skills, when you have the perspective of the other partner, you're able to accommodate a little bit better to that. When you realize that the mom is not neglecting you because she wants to neglect you, because she's hormonal, because her body is changing at a fabulous rate, because she's exhausted, because she's scared, and she's not, quote, unquote, rejecting you. She's just trying to do the best she can with what she's got. And unfortunately, we all know the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and the baby is the squeaky wheel. This is a totally helpless 6 to 8 pound human being that needs to eat every hour and a half, and needs to poop and pee, and needs to be changed, and needs to be bathed, needs to be comforted and carried. And the mom just would love the father to step up and take care of the baby. But a lot of times the moms don't know how to ask. They'll come to me and they say, I really want my husband or my partner to help me, but I don't know how to ask, because they get mad sometimes. And I started to think over the last few years is, how can I help these moms? How can I help a mom get her partner who loves her dearly and whom she loves dearly, and both of them love the baby dearly, on the same page? And this book that I wrote is one of my first efforts to do that, because those first 90 days are crucial. Everybody's exhausted. Everybody's stressed. The dad has his own concerns. He's not just concerned about the health of the baby like the mom is, but his new concern is, how am I going to provide for my wife or my partner and for my baby? How am I going to be a good dad? How am I not going to? A question I get very often is, how do I not mess up my kid? And I think that if you start, the foundational skills are communication, taking care of yourself, so that when you feel like having an emotional outburst because you feel rejected, because you're angry, because you're exhausted, if you have a few skills that you can use in order to be able to be present and focused, not just for the baby but for the mom, you can become really that man that is the pillar of the family, the fulcrum around which everybody can move very safely. Because not only does the baby need the father to step up and be the best he can be, but the partner also needs that too. And so I think that if the dad has the skills, and then I try to also address the certain issues, key issues that come up, postpartum depression, help with breastfeeding, little things, how to put the baby to sleep. Those are times when moms really, really need help. And most dads don't know that she needs help, because she's just trying to do it all on her own. She's trying to be supermom, and she can't. And if a dad would step up and help the partner, not only, again, would that strengthen, that should make him feel more confident and really proud of himself, but it'll also strengthen the relationship with his partner, because gratitude towards him will be immense. I know that I can take a break, and I know that my partner will take care of the baby while I take this hour off to take care of myself. That is a very strong, should be, or in my book, is a very strong incentive for men to learn these skills, because they love to make the woman they love happy. They'd like to make their partners happy. And that's something that I've heard from many men also. I want to make her happy, and I don't know how. Giving her an hour off, and she knows that you're going to do a good job, and she's not going to come back to a mess or to you in all upset and to the baby in tears, is a tremendous gift to her.
That does sound. I mean, I remember the first year, even after having babies. I mean, everything is so different, and our lives are so full. Sometimes we're not only dealing with a new baby, but we're trying to figure out how to go back to work if we're working, and that support system is really vital. So it's really cool that you've created this reference manual that helps them not only with the day-to-day baby care, but also with the rest of this, figuring out this emotional support and this other support. So can you tell me a little bit more about your abilities? I know that you've been a baby doctor for years and years, and you have a weekly blog, and you also have some video series in production. Can you tell me a little bit more about some of the other things that you're providing, the services?
Yes. Well, the services, I'm still starting up because I've been focusing on this book and on the blog. What I'm doing right now is a companion video series for this book. I think that when you have a baby with colic and the baby is screaming and it's 2 a.m. and nobody knows what to do, it's really cool to be able to pop on a video and to have somebody guide you through some steps that you can take. And you don't have the time to read at that point. You just need somebody to talk you through it. And maybe your mom isn't available, or your dad isn't available, or you don't have a support system, or they just plain don't know what to do. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this, the video series. I am also thinking, if there's enough demand for it, of doing a dad boot camp online. Short. People don't have a lot of time right now. It would be fabulous for me to say you can come for a weekend and I can put you through baby boot camp. And if I find that there's a need for that, I'll definitely do it. But people are busy. They have 1 to 2 jobs. The mom is working, the dad is working, and they don't have a lot of time to spend. I've been a doctor long enough that I can cut through to the chase and tell you these are the basic things that you need to know. And yes, there is a lot more stuff that you'll learn, or a lot more stuff that you could know. But what is A, B, C, and D that you need to know about taking care of your baby? And that is what this video series is going to be based on. And then I'll have a couple of Q&A sessions with dads so they can bring me their questions. And I'm also thinking of doing a series for the moms. The book that I wrote is based on skills for dads, but if the moms read the book, they'll also get some skills too. But my next book is going to be for moms, and then the one after that is going to be for grandparents, because there's a large number of grandparents parenting nowadays also. I'm thinking of setting up online consultations basically for parents who have a baby with colic, or parents who have babies with allergies. But again, I'm waiting to see how many people would like to utilize this service, because I would like to give back. I've been blessed. Had the honor of taking care of tens of thousands of children over the last 30 years. I would like to be able to support parents in the way that they need. And I just would like to hear from them. What is it exactly? Where can I fill your need? As an integrative doctor, I can take care of things in many different ways. I can do holistic care. I do natural care of colds and colic. And, when they read the book, they'll find out that I have a very natural bent. I try not to use drugs. I'm one of those people that can't take drugs themselves. When I take a medicine, I immediately have all the side effects. So from the time I was a kid, I avoided medication. And then the longer I trained, the more I wanted to take care of medicine, to stop using medicine. Because you give a medicine and then there's a side effect from the medicine, and then you got to deal with the side effect of the medicine. Why not get to the root of the problem and take care of it? And this series that I'm doing right now for parenting is to avoid certain types of problems. Nowadays, obesity and overweight is rampant in the United States. Today, there are 64 million kids that are obese in the United States alone. Obesity is not, I was an overweight kid. I would have been called obese. It doesn't only impact you physically, like with type 2 diabetes, which we never used to see in children, back pain, joint pain. You also get emotional issues. You have poor self-esteem. What I think, if you start out with the right foundation, like with breastfeeding or with learning how to feed your kid appropriately, there won't be so much of a problem with obesity. It's so much better to prevent a problem than to try to treat it once it's happened. The Chinese, and I'm trained in Chinese medicine, say if you're treating a disease, you're way too late. You want to prevent these things. And I believe that prevention is the way to go. And that's where I started. That's why I started with 0 to 3 month olds, because if you start right, you have a basic foundation. You can build on the right foundation. Because like they say, a house built on sand will get blown away, but a house built on a solid foundation of rock is very stable and steady. And that's why I started where I started. I can take care of ADHD and anxiety in kids, which is also becoming a tremendous problem. The last few years in my practice in Wyoming, I started to feel like a psychiatrist. Every other kid would come in was dealing with anxiety. They couldn't sleep. They couldn't eat. They couldn't get along with other kids. Believe it or not, if you start from a foundation when the baby is very little, the baby feels secure and calm. It not only increases their self-esteem, it increases their coping mechanisms. If you teach them how to think, by learning how to think yourself, they're much better able to deal with bullying, which again is a problem. I mean, I live in Florida. A few miles down the road, there was just another tragedy because of a kid that felt disenfranchised and outside of the realm of normal and felt the need to go off and kill hundreds of kids. I don't understand that. He killed those children for no apparent reason. I'd like to get to the root of these problems, help parents get to the root of these problems and prevent them before they actually happen. And small little steps are actually all that's needed when you start out early. So,
well, I think you're right, because children do need that solid, secure foundation so that they can, explore their world. And it's really good that you have such a broad expertise and that you do have that the ideal of, less medicine, because I think a lot of people are interested in how do you grow and have a healthy baby. So I wanted to ask you a few questions about what's going on now with medicine and trust factors with doctors, because we've been going through all of, in the United States especially, all this stuff about healthcare, and doctors just don't seem to have time. I think they care, but it's like they maybe don't have time to really talk to people. There's a lot of issues with birth. And, should you have a baby naturally? Should you go to the hospital? Should you have a cesarean? I mean, there's so many things. So what would you say about maybe some of the things with doctors and trust today, and why just talking with you or reading your book could be useful in helping people deal with some of that anxiety they have related to medicine as it is today?
Medicine has become a big business, and it's not because the doctors want it that way. It's because the way Medicare and Medicaid were set up, the way the insurance companies are, doctors could no longer afford to be independent practices. So they get bought up by either hospital systems or by businesses. And they become, instead of becoming independent people to take care of patients and parents and children, they become an employee. And the employee has to do what the employer told them. I went on an interview. I'm going to give you my personal experience. I went on an interview down here in Florida, and I was told that I would make a certain base salary. I was told how many patients. I was supposed to see 30 to 50 patients a day, Tammy. How can I possibly teach parents how to parent? And I went actually on 3 interviews, and I was told the same thing. The first interview, I left crying because I thought this can't possibly be the way medicine is. So I went on the other 2 just to see. And then I was told that I would make a base salary, and then I could make a certain extra amount of money if I didn't give the patient medication, if I didn't put the patient in the hospital, if I didn't do any x-rays or extra tests, and I didn't refer them to any subspecialist. And I thought, so what is it that I'm supposed to do? I actually asked that question.
You've been listening to Women Innovators with Tammy Patzer. To learn more, please go to womeninnovatorsradio.com. And please do subscribe and share to spread the big messages and big missions to change the world.